Tonight, we're bringing you a 12 News special presentation, Diverse Discussions.
It's a conversation with Rhode Island's leaders about how far we've come with diversity in leadership. 12 News anchor Chelsea Jones and I talked about everything from our neighborhoods to our schools and the government. Chelsea joins us now with a preview.
We spoke to 4 pioneers in our state about the changing face of leadership in Rhode Island. Most of them are firsts in their respective roles. Here's some of our conversation with how they're making that count.
My role as the first Latina Commissioner of Education here in Rhode Island is significant, but I think that in my role, I've also brought in a lot of diversity. I have the first Deputy Commissioner of Color, Latino. I also have our Director of Communication, who is also a man of color, our Superintendent, who's a man of color. We created an equity position. So there's movement, and I think that when that becomes part of the norm, then we'll see more acceptance.
Being the first Latina mayor in the city, it's made such a huge difference for the residents of the city. They feel comfortable. I made it a point to have staff in the front of City Hall, so when the residents come in, that we have staff that speak Spanish, that can answer their questions in their language. I made sure that in all of our departments we have bilingual speaking staff. I made sure that I have in all of our departments staff that look like the community that we serve. That's representation.
And a lot of people and companies right now are focusing on DEI initiatives. So Chris, a big part of your job focuses on that. How do you make sure that this message is not only conveyed at the State House, but also in the community?
Well, I came to the State House from the community, so I can never leave the community. I'm part of the community. I continue to be part of the community. But I'm so blessed to be first Deputy Chief of Staff, person of color, at the level that I'm at, and that has never happened for so many years. We've had so many governors. Governor McKee is the 76th governor of the state of Rhode Island, and he chose me to be Deputy Chief of Staff, and that's a big deal for our community. And again, it's part of the progress that we're making towards equity.
What does it mean for people in the community to see people who look like them leading or in leadership positions?
So I think that there's 2 pieces to that. I think one is empathy, and I think the other is aspiration. I think that when people see themselves reflected in any institution, whether it's government, whether it's the private sector, it really doesn't matter. What it shows is that they have a pathway to success, and that there is something that they can aspire to.
Now, something we also touched on were the struggles that comes with being the first and the work that still needs to be done to achieve equity in Rhode Island.
Now, equity is a word that was mentioned a lot in this conversation, as we heard from the panel. Some people believe it means you're taking from someone in order to help someone else achieve success, but that's not what equity is.
Right. So equity recognizes that we all don't start on a level playing field, and some people need more help in achieving success. It's making sure that people have access to the resources they need to achieve the same goals as anyone else.
So much to unpack. We talk about a variety of topics, including the legacy these leaders want to leave in this edition of Diverse Discussions. You can watch it tonight on Fox Providence at 6:30.